When my wife told me she was going on a work trip, I didn't think much of it at first. She had been talking about how her team was under pressure and how they often leaned on each other for support. Still, something in her tone bothered me. She mentioned her work husband again, a joke she had used before, but this time, it didn't sound like a joke anymore. My gut told me something wasn't right. Over the next few days, she packed with an excitement I hadn't seen in years. She claimed it was strictly professional, yet she chose her best dresses and perfume, the kind she usually saved for date nights. I kept quiet, but inside, suspicion kept building. I decided to confirm the details on my own. With some discreet checking, I discovered the hotel she had booked, and it wasn't just her going. Her so-called work husband had reserved a room too. Instead of confronting her immediately, I reached out to his actual wife. We had met briefly at a company dinner once, and I still had her contact details. At first, she didn't want to believe me, but when I showed her proof of the booking, the truth hit her. Together, we decided that we wouldn't sit quietly while they treated us like fools. We would face them where they least expected it, at the hotel itself. When we arrived, we didn't rush inside. We wanted to catch them in the act. The lobby was grand and filled with people coming and going. We sat quietly in a corner, waiting. It didn't take long before we saw them together, laughing, checking in at the front desk like a couple. My heart burned, but I kept my composure. I glanced at his wife. Her face was pale, her hands trembling, but her eyes showed the same determination as mine. We walked toward them just as the clerk handed them their key cards. Their smiles froze instantly when they saw us. My wife's face drained of color, and the man beside her stammered, unable to form a word. The silence around us felt heavier than anything I'd ever known. People in the lobby turned to look, sensing the tension. I didn't shout, I didn't cause a scene. Instead, I said calmly, "It looks like you both forgot to mention your real spouses are standing right here." His wife stepped forward and added, "And you thought we wouldn't find out." The shock on their faces was more powerful than any argument we could have had at home. They tried to explain, fumbling with excuses about team bonding and just being friends, but their matching luggage and the way they held each other's hands minutes earlier betrayed them. Everyone around could see the truth. They had been caught red-handed, and there was no way out. I turned to my wife and said, "If this is what you wanted, you should have been honest. But lying to me, betraying our marriage, ends here." Her eyes filled with tears, but they weren't of guilt, only fear of losing the comfort of the life we built. I felt nothing but cold resolve. His wife didn't hold back. She told him that their marriage was over and that he would face the consequences of his choices. The man looked helpless, realizing that everything he had taken for granted was slipping away in a matter of minutes. We didn't argue further. We left them standing there in the middle of the lobby, exposed and humiliated. As we walked out together, his wife whispered to me, "They thought they were clever, but they forgot we had the right to the truth." The ride home was quiet, but my mind was clear. For years, I had ignored small signs, brushing off my wife's constant mentions of her work husband as harmless jokes. Now I understood those jokes had hidden real feelings and real betrayal. When she finally came home later that night, she begged for forgiveness, saying it had never gone too far. But to me, trust was already broken. Once someone crosses that line, there's no going back. In the weeks that followed, I focused on myself, on rebuilding a life where honesty mattered more than appearances. The pain was sharp, but it reminded me of one thing: betrayal might cut deep, but exposing it brings back strength. My wife lost not only my trust, but also the future we could have had. And I walked away knowing that sometimes the strongest revenge is simply showing up with the truth, at the right time, in the right place.